Hello there. Time for a long overdue update, I think. First of all, Happy New Year to everyone. It's not too late in the year to say that. It's the first opportunity I've had, so there you go. I'm going to say it anyway. So yeah, hope everybody's well. Yeah, I think it's probably my first update since about August, probably. No particular reason. We went on holiday in August, so I didn't paint for a couple of weeks, and then I came back and was doing other things for a couple of months. I think I picked up a paintbrush for about 3 months in total. Wasn't painter's block or anything like that. I was just doing other things, and yeah, just yeah, didn't have the time to do it at that stage for a little bit, so it was fine. Probably break does you good anyway, doesn't it, sometimes? So but yeah, no, I didn't feel particularly have painter's block or anything like that. I was just say doing other things. So yeah, we had a little break, and then I picked it up again probably end of November. A fairly productive run into Christmas actually, so there's quite a few things to put through on this update. And there'll probably be another update after that in a few days' time with some Napoleonic stuff on it as well. But if I stick this one to the English Civil War, and yeah, I'll theme them a little bit. Otherwise, there's no way you'll get bored if I put everything up in one video. I'll try and string it out a little bit. So yeah, I did pretty much finished up my Scots Covenanter army. The only thing I've got to do now, after I've sort of shown you what I've got here, I've just got a few command bases to do. I was sort of holding out because Bloody Miniatures, who lots of people rave about, and quite rightly as it turns out, have been promising to do some Covenanters for a while, and they finally dropped. So I bought those a few weeks ago, and I've started painting those up just to make some command bases and character figures really. That'll probably be a couple of videos time. I've done some already which just need to finish basing, and the others are sort of primed and different stages of painting, so that's going to be the next thing. But yeah, just rounding out the army really with a few command bases. I've got some cavalry and artillery, so I'll put those up in this video. So this is the first thing I did. I got a bit carried away with this one, to be honest. I just wanted to make a nice sort of scenic command base. It's a combination of Warlord and Perry figures. I couldn't tell you which is which. I think of the two guys on horse, the one on the one with his face turned away is the Warlord figure, one of the character figures I think. The other guy's Perry, definitely. Of the guys on foot, I honestly can't remember what's what. There's a dog there as well. It's always nice to have a dog on officer's base, I think, if you've got one floating around. And at the back it's a mule tied to a post. It goes with one of the artillery figures. I think it's Warlord. Do a sort of a Scots light gun with a donkey in the background, but I didn't fancy using it with the artillery figure, so it's just something extra I can throw on the command base. Yeah, I did paint these up properly. Most of the army I've done with sort of contrast paints and speed paints, combination of, but I did try and paint the command base conventionally because I wanted it to look a little bit nicer. Flag out, the Warlord flag out the box, nothing fancy, but yeah, just a scenic command base. He'd obviously predominantly be the CNC, or he might just be decorative somewhere, but yeah, nice figure, a nice set of figures. The base is I think it's War Bases do a set of maybe products for war games possibly. Anyway, it's one of the two. Do a set of irregular bases, which you get some weird and wonderful shapes, but they can actually look quite nice. Add a bit of character, I think, rather than just a round or an oblong or something. It just looks a little bit different. So yeah, that's the first thing. Nice command base. Yeah, followed by a unit of commanded shot. These are mostly Warlord figures, I think. There might be the odd Perry command figure in there possibly. Yeah, just box standard. What can you say? I did them with contrast and speed paint, so they're not as I could make them look nicer, but I didn't know if get them done quickly, which is the main objective with this project. I'm doing that was the objective all the way through, and to be honest with you, I've done so many now. I'm quite keen to get it finished, so I was quite happy to rattle through them. The only thing of note there is the officer figure there in the middle with the armour on. Yeah, I've been using. I was running a bit low of command figures, so I used a bit of a conversion. It's meant to be a pikeman in the Warlord pike and shot box, armoured pikeman, but actually, if you put some different arms on him. Got some arms from the cavalry box left over with a pistol there, and a different arm doing something else. They actually look okay, make reasonable sort of command figures and just a bit different. So I got the idea. It's a very good idea, but it's fairly obvious. Should have thought of it myself really. But this guy, Tin Soldier Wargaming, well worth a look if you're not aware of it. He's been doing a lot of English Civil War and Napoleonic figures, and I completely stole the idea from him. But yeah, very good idea, and I ran with it, and it turns out okay. So yeah, that's another unit of foot, which I think is going to be the last unit of foot for the army. Also got stuck into some cavalry, a unit of Scots Lancers. The guy there does have a flag, very small one. Yeah, these are Perry figures actually. I'd got some Warlord cavalry, so for a bit of variety I bought some Perry metal cavalry. So Scots Lancers, the lance is a bit bent. There's all sorts of, they're very very soft metal, the lances. Maybe I should have stuck some wire spears in there or something, but yeah, that'll do. Again, painted them pretty quickly with the I think these were all done with speed paint, so rather than contrast I picked up a set of the speed paints and just thought I'd try them out. Obviously they're a lot cheaper than the than the contrast paint, so if they work just as well, then I thought that might be the way forward with some of this stuff. The only thing I would say with them, people have talked about paint reconstituting, and it does happen. I tried to paint sort of a light colour on these horses. You can just about see there where I've tried to put a lighter colour on their nose and socks, things like that. It does you can get the paint on, but it sort of reconstitutes some of the brown underneath, so it didn't quite come out the colour I wanted. I've heard you can put matte varnish on them if you want to before you spray them, or you can they suggest, I think with some of the army painted videos I've seen, leaving it 24 hours. Maybe that would have worked. Can't really see the point of putting matte varnish on halfway through a paint job, because that kind of defeats the object of painting fast, I think. But anyway, that's something to experiment with in the future. But anyway, yeah, turned out okay. Happy enough with those for the sort of standard of this army that I'm going for. Yeah, and another unit of Scots cavalry, Perrys again, metals. This time just normal cavalry, not particularly lancers. They're a little bit rubbish in the game I played, but you need some cavalry, don't you? So yeah, another unit. Yeah, put them on quite big bases. I'm playing to the strongest variant for King and Parliament, I think it's called. Yeah, you just need to be able to fit the unit in a box, so you can be a bit. You can space them out quite nicely. So I put them on. I can't remember what they are. They 75 by 60 or something. So they're quite big bases for 4 cavalry, but it allows you to make them look a little bit more dynamic and spaced out, which I quite like. Yeah, so that's the another unit of cavalry. I put some stills at the end with a few different angles if I've got time. And but yeah, another unit of cavalry. Yeah, a couple of commanders. These are definitely Perry. I'd use these for probably end up commanding the cavalry wings, to be honest. At some point I should get more dynamic cavalry commanders perhaps, but these will do for the time being. Again, with the command figures I was trying to paint these up properly rather than using the speed paints, and they do look a little bit nicer as a result. Yeah, so I was fairly happy with those. Yeah, again we'll put some stills up at the end, but just to give you a few different angles, just very nice figures. Can't odds those. And there's more. Yep, one gun. Perry figures. Again, all done with contrast paints, which come out pretty well on the gun. Actually, I've got to be honest. Guns and horses and that kind of thing, they work well. The gun's got a decent bit of texture into it, and the contrast paints really actually bring that out pretty well. So I think even if I tried to paint those the old-fashioned way, it would have probably taken a lot longer and wouldn't have looked half as good. So ideal for that. Yeah, so one gun, 2 guns. Again, it's the same gun and crew. Just put them in slightly different positions and painted them slightly differently so they look different. But again, what can you say really? Decent figures, painted up okay. Yeah, we'll put some stills at the end, but yeah, another gun. So that is pretty much, that's not my favourite to be honest, of the stuff we've got. Go back to that because that looks a bit better for the end shot. So that pretty much, say, brings this army to an end really. Played a few games with it now. I've got another couple of games lined up this month, so it should get plenty of use. The only things I've got to do, say, they're just a couple of more command bases with those bloody miniatures figures. We'll show them soon, and I've picked up a couple of horse holders to go with the dragoons, and it won't take very long to do. So that really will finish it off. Then I could obviously do loads more if I wanted to, but I think it's time to call quits. It's not the most interesting army to paint, but it can be done quite quickly, and that's, you know, gives me I can get some decent games of English Civil War in with it now, so that's brilliant. So pleased with that. So that's everything. I think, as I say, I've done a few more Napoleonics. I'll put those up in the next video, and then I'll work out once I've finished the English Civil War stuff. I'll work out what I want to do next. I've got a few ideas, but I haven't fully decided yet. So that's me really. In a nutshell, it was a nice little break, doing other things, but yeah, back to the painting. Really enjoyed it. Didn't do too much. I had a nice productive spurt before Christmas, which is where this lot came from. Over Christmas, again, I didn't do a lot of painting because I was watching the darts, to be honest. Always enjoy the darts over Christmas. And then went back to work and I was a bit busy for a few days, so it's been a bit quiet for a couple of weeks, but hopefully we'll pick it up again over the next few weeks. Certainly plan to, yeah, that's it really. So as I say, Happy New Year again to everybody. Thanks for watching, subscribing, everything else, really appreciate it, and thanks for sort of still sticking around while I took a break. And yeah, we'll try and get a few more videos coming as hopefully the painting steps up again in the new year. So yeah, all the best. Hope everyone's well. Thanks again for everything, and we'll speak to you again soon. Take care.